because today is a day which unfortunately will largely go unnoticed. But today is a day when we effectively criminalise slavery in Ireland by defining forced labour and reinforcing it as a specific criminal offence. Just like my colleague, Deputy Robert Dowds, I want to congratulate the Migrant Rights Centre of Ireland, Denise Charlton, Siobhan O'Donoghue, Gráinne O'Toole and others who have worked so hard to bring this legislation here with the assistance, obviously, of the Minister. And the victims themselves, some of whom are here in Dáil Éireann today, who never lost faith in this republic, who engaged with the political system and have seen their rights vindicated today. Over 180 cases that the MRCI have dealt with over the last number of years. And I would just like to put on the record of the House, I remember my first political campaign, my first election campaign was in the teeth of the citizenship referendum in 2004, when official Ireland did its very best to have a cloud of suspicion hanging over our newest and our most vulnerable of communities. And I think we have come a long way since then. And this bill is part of that whole process. But I think the political system has to show much more leadership right across Ireland when dealing with our newest and most vulnerable of communities. How brave must you be to land into a country, to see your civil rights and your human dignity suppressed, to have nowhere to go, not understand the language, and yet still have an opportunity to come into this House today and to see legislation passed which will criminalise forced labour. I think you must be a particularly brave person to believe in that republic, and that republic would actually believe in you. And so I commend the Minister for what you've done here today. I think it's actually a very special thing that we have achieved. There are things, though, we want to focus on for the victims of forced labour. If and when a criminal offence is proven to have taken place, after criminal proceedings have concluded, there is an issue of the lack of support and assistance which would be provided to victims. And I hope, Minister, maybe you could specifically address that issue when you make your concluding remarks. I celebrate the fact that right across this House there is support for this bill, but I think it is important for us to recognise that regardless of how vulnerable you feel, of how disconnected you are, how much your rights have been impinged upon, if you feel you absolutely have no help or assistance out there, no matter how lonely you feel, there is always a group of decent, progressive people who will stand up for you and who will use this system for the right ends to vindicate your rights. And the Migrant Rights Centre of Ireland are that group in this situation. I heartily congratulate them. But we can't rest on our laurels, Las Concorda. I think we have to look exactly at what the points the Migrant Rights Centre of Ireland have actually pointed out in relation to this bill. It is a good day. It's a good day for this republic. But at the same time, the assistance that those who have been proven to be victims of forced labour after those criminal sanctions have been imposed, the supports that they need to rebuild their lives as citizens of this republic needs to be the next focus for the Minister. So I commend the Minister, I commend the bill, and I commend those who have campaigned on this issue. Myself and Robert Dowds have been centrally involved in this, and I think it's important that we take stock of today's achievement.